Israel's defense minister Yoav Gallant has said that its forces are gearing up for a ground offensive in Gaza. Gallant said, and I quote, "We started the offensive from the air. Later on, we will also come from the ground." Yesterday, he declared a complete siege of Gaza, cutting off water, food, and power supplies. Last week, Israel declared a war after Hamas's attack that killed more than 700 people in the country. The death toll has now increased to more than 1,200. The Israeli military has said that 2 Hamas terrorists have been killed in an airstrike. Jawad Abu Shamala and Zakaria Abu Mamar were killed in the southern Gaza Strip. They are the first senior Hamas members to be killed since Israel began pounding the enclave following an attack by Hamas. Israel says that Abu Shamala had led a number of operations targeting Israeli civilians. Israel and Lebanon continued to launch attacks on each other on Tuesday. Fire and smoke could be seen rising from near the Lebanese-Israeli border. Reports say a salvo of rockets was fired from southern Lebanon towards Israel. In turn, the Israeli military said it was responding with artillery fire to launches coming from Lebanese territory. Meanwhile, Israeli troops fired artillery and mortar shells towards Syria on Tuesday. This is after several shells were launched from Syria. There were no immediate reports of damage or injuries. However, the development raises fears of a wider war. Egypt's military has taken up new positions close to its border with Gaza. It is running patrols to monitor the area. Egypt is now moving to prevent a mass exodus from the Gaza Strip into its Sinai Peninsula. This is according to the Sinai Foundation for Human Rights. Yesterday, Egypt's President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said that the escalation between Israel and Hamas will likely have dangerous consequences for Egypt. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spoken with his Israeli counterpart Benjamin Netanyahu over a call. During the call, PM Modi reiterated his support for Israel. In a post on social media platform X, Modi wrote, and I quote, "People of India stand firmly with Israel in this difficult hour." His statement added that India strongly and unequivocally condemns terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. Meanwhile, the Israeli Prime Minister also spoke with US President Joe Biden. This was their third phone call in 4 days. In the latest call, Biden denounced Hamas. He also stressed his support for Israel as the country mourns the killing of more than 1,000 people. Meanwhile, Biden called Hamas's unprecedented attack on Israel, quote-unquote, an act of sheer evil. He said this during a press conference after his call with Israel's Netanyahu. Biden outlined the US military assistance was being sent to help Israel in its fight, including ammunition. A shipment of ammunition from the US has arrived in Israel. The Israel Ministry of Defense shared blurred footage of the cargo being unloaded from a plane. This comes after US President Joe Biden pledged support for Israel and vowed to provide it with ammunitions. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken will be traveling to Israel today. He will arrive in the West Asian country on Thursday, where he is scheduled to meet senior Israeli leaders. Blinken says that he intends to convey America's support to its Israeli partners during the visit.
Our support for Israel is unwavering.
United States has said it is talking with Israel and Egypt about a safe passage for Gaza civilians. This is following Israel's retaliation at the Gaza Strip after Hamas's deadly weekend attack. Gaza's health ministry has said at least 830 people have been killed in the region so far. Meanwhile, the White House said that US intelligence does not indicate Iran helped plan Hamas's attack on Israel. But the US will continue to look for information to verify Iran's involvement. Yesterday, Iran's leader said that Tehran had no role to play in the attack. However, he hailed what he called Israel's intelligence defeat. US National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan has said that 20 or more Americans have been missing since Hamas attacked Israel. Sullivan said that it still isn't known how many of those missing are being held as hostages. Yesterday, US President Joe Biden said that at least 11 American citizens were killed in Israel in Hamas-led attacks. Australia has said that a 66-year-old Sydney-born woman has been killed in the Hamas attack on Israel. Galit Kawon was killed on Saturday near Gaza. She is the first known Australian to die in the war. During a press conference, Australian Prime Minister Antony Albanese condemned Hamas's attacks. Meanwhile, Albanese also said that Australia has arranged for 2 flights. This is to repatriate its citizens stranded in Israel. The flights will be operated by Australia's Qantas Airways and will be free of charge. Spain has sent out 2 military aircraft to evacuate about 500 Spaniards from Israel. The first plane carrying 200 people landed at a military base near Madrid this morning. A second aircraft is scheduled to evacuate more people from Tel Aviv today. An Air Force plane has taken off from Argentina's capital city, Buenos Aires. This is to bring back its citizens stranded in Israel amid the ongoing war. A group of at least 713 Argentines have requested to be evacuated. These include students, tourists, and business visitors. A flight carrying 200 South Koreans landed at the country's Incheon airport yesterday. They were evacuated from Israel amid the ongoing war in the region. Meanwhile, South Korea's foreign minister has confirmed that there were no casualties from their country. Austria has halted aid to Palestinian territories after Hamas's attack on Israel. This is according to the country's chancellor, Karl Nehammer. Nehammer says Austria is taking the step because it believes the money is being used for terrorist purposes. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has criticized the United States. This is for moving a carrier strike group closer to Israel. Erdogan said that the group would commit serious massacres in Gaza. On Sunday, the US said that it would move a carrier strike group closer to Israel in show of support after Tel Aviv was attacked on Saturday. Hundreds of protesters turned up for a pro-Israel rally in New York City. New York Governor Kathy Hochul and Mayor Eric Adams also turned up for the rally. They expressed their support towards Israel. Hochul said, and I quote, "In such moments of darkness and in cruelty, we are called upon to pray for peace." The Jewish community in the US city of Miami held a rally in support of Israel. One of the protesters said, "These many Jews haven't died on one single day ever since the Holocaust." Officials like Senator Marco Rubio and Miami's mayor attended the rally. The Lieutenant Governor of Florida said that the terrorists want nothing but death and destruction. Demonstrators in Rome gathered near the Colosseum to show solidarity with Israel. The rally was organized after the death toll crossed 1,000 in the country. The Israeli flag was displayed on Rome's Palazzo Madama, which is the upper house of Italy's parliament. People lit candles alongside the bank of the Danube River in Budapest for Israel. This happened at the shores of the Danube Bank Holocaust Memorial, which honors the Jews killed during World War II. Demonstrators were also holding Israeli and Hungarian flags. Hundreds gathered in front of Israel embassy in Spain's Madrid to show support to Israel. Some of the protesters said that Israel has the right to defend itself after more than 1,000 were killed in Hamas's attack. Demonstrators held placards and chanted slogans. Moving to the ongoing Cricket World Cup in India, Pakistan beat Sri Lanka by 6 wickets in yesterday's match. Sri Lanka batted first and scored 344 for 9 wickets in their 50 overs. Kusal Mendis and Sadira Samaravikrama both scored centuries. Pakistan were able to chase down the target with ease. Mohammad Rizwan and Abdul Shafiq scored centuries for Pakistan. This was the highest run chase in a World Cup match for Pakistan. Pakistan batters Mohammad Rizwan and Abdullah Shafiq scripted history in yesterday's match. Rizwan scored 131 while battling cramps throughout his innings. On the other end of the crease, Shafiq became the first Pakistani batter to score a century on World Cup debut. Shafiq scored 113 runs in 103 balls. During yesterday's match, Sri Lanka's Kusal Mendis had a good day with the bat. It was his century that helped Sri Lanka post a high total despite losing the match. Mendis scored his century in just 65 balls. That's the fastest by a Sri Lankan in a World Cup match. However, after that, Mendis was taken off the field and hospitalized for severe cramps. There was a second ODI World Cup match yesterday, where England beat Bangladesh by 137 runs at the Dharamshala Stadium in India's Himachal Pradesh state. England batted first and scored 364 for the loss of 9 wickets in their innings. David Malan scored a massive 140 runs for England. 50s by Joe Root and Johnny Bairstow parred England to the big score. Bangladesh were bowled out for 227 runs in the 40th over. Despite 50s from Liton Das and Mushfiqur Rahim, Bangladesh fell short of the target. Meanwhile, the International Cricket Council or ICC has fined the Bangladesh team. This was because they had a slow over rate against England. The Bangladesh team has been fined 5% of their match fee. England bowler Sam Curran admitted that he was relieved the match in Dharamshala was over. This was because the stadium there had a rough and unsafe outfield which posed a major risk to players. After winning the match against Bangladesh, Curran said that both teams were relieved no one got injured. Indian batter Shubman Gill is still recovering from his illness. Reports say that he has been discharged from the hospital and is feeling better. As per reports, the opener is expected to fly to Ahmedabad, where he will rejoin the Indian squad. However, there is no clarity whether Gill will be fit to play the India-Pakistan match on the 14th of October. The Board of Control for Cricket in India or BCCI has confirmed that Team India will not wear orange jerseys for the match against Pakistan. This comes after there were reports saying that India will ditch the traditional blue for the special match. BCCI says the orange jerseys are kept for training schedules only. Australian all-rounder Marcus Stoinis will make a return to the squad. He has recovered from an injury. Stoinis has been declared fit to play for Australia for their match against South Africa tomorrow. Stoinis says he is excited to start playing in the World Cup. Australian captain Pat Cummins paid a visit to a school in the Indian city of Lucknow. Cummins interacted with children and even played cricket with them. After his visit, here's what Cummins had to say, and I quote, "I love doing such things. It takes you outside the cricket bubble."